I have?
Sergio.
And who is Sergio?
Sergio's just a dude who's been around, but a Bay Area born and bred guy. See, right when I was talking him up and saying he was a quiet boy, he started whining. And this is... Yeah,
you can have him in your lap if
I
you
guess
want.
I should bring him up.
Sure.
Right.
And this is the newest addition to the family, Cowboy. Yeah, so that's... I'm pretty much just a regular Concord dude.
Oh, you're from Concord?
Well, not originally, but this has been home for the past 15, 20 years about, so...
What side? Because Concord's huge.
Yeah, Concord's big, so I'm on the Clayton Valley side. And then I kind of... My grandma's the one who's been out here the longest for probably 20, 30 plus years, and she's in the Farm Bureau area. So I guess, what's that considered? East side? But yeah, so I've always left Concord for the past 15, 20 years, but I always end up back here. This is always going to be home.
Yeah.
Always at home. So yeah, I guess I'm originally from Daly City, San Francisco area. That's kind of where I grew up, but then I moved out here halfway through high school, and this has been home ever since.
Where'd you go to high school?
Technically, I graduated from Northgate. I started high school in the city at Reardon, and then I ended up graduating from
Sounds
Northgate.
like you're more on the richer side than me.
I don't know, but so I got to see my parents elevate. You know, I remember the one bedroom. I didn't have my own room until I was 17. You know, I shared with all, my brothers and sisters. When my cousins came up, I remember being like 12 of us in a 2-bedroom household. But I also got to see my parents elevate and put money away, and for the price of a 2-bedroom home in Daly City, they bought a home out here with more space for the growing family. So I got to see them sort of elevate throughout the years. But yeah, it's I definitely appreciate the opportunities I see a lot of my friends growing up didn't have. But yeah, I've been around. Yeah.
I love Concord.
Yeah.
This is home for me. I've been here since I was 5.
Wow.
Lived downtown Concord my whole life till now, but it's still pretty much Concord Monument.
Yeah.
Right in the border of Pleasant Hill and Walnut Creek,
That's
which is
right.
pretty nice. Not by choice, but I'm here anyway. So tell me a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah, I guess if I were to start somewhere, it'd probably be in high school when I moved out here. It was kind of a culture shock, just being in a very diverse upbringing.
From Daly City
City and San Francisco to and I didn't even know what a minority was
to
until
Concord?
moving out here.
In Concord?
In Concord, yeah. So to go from that to spending my last year and a half of high school in Walnut Creek, that was a pretty big.
It's dominantly Caucasians, right?
Yeah, and Asians, but yeah, it was I wasn't used to not having a Hispanic circle of friends. That just wasn't a thing.
Okay.
I didn't even think about it, but yeah.
How old are you actually?
So I'll be 37 this year.
So you're a little older than I am.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I've heard things have changed. Like my little sister's 10 years younger than me, grew up out here, and she.
Oh, I bet things are way different. Different than.
But back then it was something else. It was
I went to Mount.
Oh, okay,
Class of 2010. So.
Yeah. So back then I would have died to go to Mount. I would have been man.
Well, back then Mount was terrible, actually.
Yeah, I know, but I was like, dude, I would at least feel like home out there.
A lot of gangs and stuff.
Yeah.
But I didn't come up with any of that.
Yeah,
so.
it was always around, but I
Right. And you'll find that anywhere and everywhere, including San Francisco, I'm sure. But you have a little bit, I feel like you have maybe more diversity here in the East Bay than you do in San Francisco. Because I think San Francisco is a lot of Asian people now.
That's true, yeah. So where I grew up in Daly City, it was kind of like the Daly City side of Mission. So you had, and plus it was Daly City at the time, it was like the Filipino capital of the U.S., right? So it was
I think it still is.
Yeah, my neighborhood was like Filipinos, Mexican people.
Nothing wrong with that.
Black people, and yeah, so I just felt like growing up, I was like exposed to a lot of different cultures, and I was least familiar with, I guess, mainstream America. And so when I came out here, I mean, I'm grateful now for that experience because it helped me in other parts of my life growing up, like learning how to, you know, communicate to all kinds of different people. But when you're in that moment and you're like, what is going on out here? I'm hearing words for the first time that I don't, you know, I never knew. I had never heard what a wetback was until I was like old, you know what I mean? And so like, it's just kind of like one of those things where it's like, in the moment, you were like, man, I need to get out of here. But afterwards, you're like grateful for the experience. You're like,
what is something that people don't know about you?
Something that people don't know about me. Wow, that's I guess that I pride myself on just being open-minded. I always try to put the shoe on the other foot and try to like envision another point of view, maybe something I don't agree with, maybe something that just seems super foreign to me, but I really try to like always keep an open mind, and that's something I pride myself on, is always trying to understand.
You know, it's funny that you say open-minded, and I consider myself open-minded, but a lot of the times, a lot of people that I surround myself with, or I happen to be in public, they're not open-minded. A lot of people are very close-minded and are set in their ways, and it's like, oh, well, he upset me, so I'm gonna be mad at him.
Yeah.
Even now, like dealing with family, because we talk about family, and family is a big thing. I had a conversation with somebody recently, and they're like, oh, well, you never liked him, so why bother? You know, why bother trying to get along? It's like, wow.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Our roots are like Christian, you know?
Yeah.
Our people are like, you need to, you know, if not like everybody, at least be nice to them. And it's like, now it's different.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's nothing wrong with disagreeing. I think a lot of people have problems with disagreement, and like they can't just agree to disagree.
I don't think it's even that, the disagreement. I think it's just communicating it in a healthy way.
Yeah.
And sitting down and actually hearing each other out, because a lot of times, we get upset. I know myself, like if somebody says something stupid, I don't necessarily want to listen to them, you know? And then the whole pride and the whole ego. So it's about how we communicate it, and why are we communicating, and what are our intentions. It's a lot deeper than just one thing. It's many things in one.
100%. Yeah.
And let's face it, we might not want to work at it.
Yeah, and that's sometimes you gotta be like, that's totally cool too. Like, hey, but as long as you know you can be cordial and just say, hey, you know what? When it comes to this, that, and the other, I don't want to deal with you. But you know, I don't have to be.
We grew up. We're currently in a ghosting society where people are so scared to hurt people's feelings and to be themselves that they'd rather just disappear, and that might be the way to go.
Maybe, I don't know. That it seems kind of like avoiding something to me, right? Like it's something that. Not to sound harsh, but to me ghosting is like very cowardice, right? Instead of just addressing it and confronting it and just like.
But there's people like that, you know, that just like me and you, we're different or same. There's different, numerous ways of dealing with things. Yeah. And we have to be okay with it.
Well, sure. Know? I mean, you have no choice when you're ghosting. Right. Sure. Right. If someone ghosts you, you're like, you can't do much.
Because then it leaves. And it leaves an open area of maybe potentially coming back later on, or just not having those memories of, they said F you to me, or they don't want to be around me anymore because they see me as toxic or manipulator or abuser. That sometimes your peace is more important, especially as I'm a 32-year-old. I don't want any drama.
Sure.
I want peace.
But to me, that's not ghosting. If you express that, hey, look, I need space because I don't need toxicity. That's communication. That's true. That's not ghosting to me.
That's true.
To me, ghosting is like a true like.
Cut.
You left them. You left them in the, and they're just sitting there like, what did I do? You know, there's unsolved answers, right? So to me, that's not that. you're communicating. You communicate.
But even communication is communication.
Yeah, exactly. Non-communication can be communicative.
So you like having intellectual conversations.
I do.
I like
yeah,
that.
absolutely.
You don't have too many people nowadays that are willing to have an intellectual conversation.
Yeah, 100%.
So
I love having silly conversations too, so we can get as smart or as dumb as you like.
as long as you're open to a communication,
Yeah, for sure.
that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Because I saw somebody earlier that looked like you, and they were just like, "Look, why are you talking to me?" Like, it's like we need to be more nicer to each other, open and say hi. Can I help you? Do you need help? Instead of, why are you talking?
Yeah.
And I can't say that either because I'm like that too. Like,
Yeah.
I'll be like, what's up with them? Why are they, you know?
Right.
Stranger danger. So
Yeah.
there has to be a balance.
Yeah, definitely. Especially nowadays, people tend to like shy away from like random conversation, but it was pretty much the norm before social media, where like someone just might strike up a conversation, and you know, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just friendly. Being a part of a friendly community.
Well,
right?
I remember when we could go to the mall, or you went to the park, or you know, ice cream or coffee, and had a face-to-face conversation. Now everything's on Facebook or Instagram.
Yeah, people are very skeptical. People always think that there's like an angle, you're trying to sell them on something.
Because most of the time, as of lately, there is.
That's true, yeah. Yeah, but then again, there's nothing wrong with shutting it down either. But, you know, if you're trying to sell me something, I'm good off that, but thank you, have a nice day, you know?
Yeah, true.
I work in a very customer service environment. There's always someone that religious conversion or something like that, and you know, there's nice ways to just turn them down and keep it moving.
Right. When you've gone too far on the other end. Okay. So what industry are you in?
Currently, I work as a barista. I've been in several different industries.
Barista, so
yeah,
coffee.
Yeah, a lot of coffee.
You're in the arts of
I mean, I'm learning
coffee.
it. I literally have only been doing it since I moved back out here, which was like maybe like since June or July. So basically my story is I kind of was a music dude coming out of high school and really pursued that heavy, did the whole move to LA thing. And then I just got sidetracked with work. I was working at a law firm of all places down there at the same time, and I didn't really put the time and the effort that I could have, looking back on it. But when that was kind of all over, and I had built up this resume, I kind of just took it into just doing paper pusher stuff in real estate, 9 to 5, and it's a pretty miserable gig if you're not familiar with like office, like 9 to 5. It might pay well, but it's just, man, you just look around at all the people that are older than you're like, I don't want to turn into that. And so after a few years, I'm like, I'm out of here. And so ultimately my goal was like, my dream was like, okay, well, I want to own, I'm a super big pizza fan.
Pizza?
Everyone that knows me knows I'm like the pizza guy. And so I'm like, okay, well, I want to learn this stuff, and one day I want to have my little shop, and and so I'm like, well, I know nothing.
Hold on. Before you mentioned pizza, you mentioned being an artist.
Music, yeah.
Music. Mm-hmm. What was it that you like singing or?
So
you
back then, I started out as like a on the mic artist. I was doing, Latin urban stuff before like Yankee was popular out here, Daddy Yankee and Don Omar and all those guys. This is back, we're talking like 03, right? And then getting into that got me into like recording music, so I had to record myself. I didn't know anybody with this.
So was it like kind of like a DJ or?
No, it was so when I started out it was just vocals. It was just being an artist.
Okay.
And then that got me into producing music and making music and recording music and mixing and mastering and all that stuff. And then that eventually, way down the line, 10 years later, got me into DJing. So I've DJed locally here, if you've ever been afraid.
But how'd you get into that? What started
music? I've always been into music. My dad was always into music and recorded amateurly, and so I would take like his old karaoke machines, take them apart, and learn how to do multi-track recording on his karaoke machines. So that's kind of where I guess I started, and then later on down the line, I was making music. Back then, reggaeton and urban Latin music was not popular on the West Coast. So finding someone to make you beats was hella hard.
Right.
And so I'm like, all right, well, I guess I gotta make my own beats. So that's what got me into making beats. And then I'm like, okay, well, now I got the vocals.
And this is all done on a computer?
I ended up getting a mentor in high school, and he taught me how to build a studio, and he even sold me some equipment. So yeah, I started little pieces of equipment at a time until I had everything, the mic, the computer, the mixing consoles, the studio racks.
Yeah.
So this was back in the day when you needed all that stuff to record, and it was like an investment of thousands of dollars. Nowadays you don't need all that, right? You can, all you need is a little laptop.
I assume.
Yeah. I don't know.
I want to make music, but not
But it's way better now. I won't say easier. Right. Making music is always hard.
Complex,
good music, but it's way better now economically to make music, and then from there you just learn everything you need. It was literally, I need beats, learn how to make beats. I need to record, learn how to record. Now I need a DJ to play my music. I guess I gotta learn how to DJ. So it was all these little tool belts that I added to my belt going up until COVID shut it all down, and I was done with it and sold everything. But
why'd you have to shut it down?
well, so I was already getting out of it before COVID, but when COVID hit, like it really shut down all the parties, and I wasn't doing any mobile gigs, and that was my biggest investment, was all the mobile gear. And so I ended up
gear?
like all the speakers that you would take to like an event.
Gotcha.
And so I'm like, all right, well, I guess I have no use for this. I really have no use for this now. So I ended up getting out of it and going back into my regular jobs, and then started redirecting my focus into what I really want to do, which, like I said, is
pizza.
Getting back into the pizza. I wasn't, I don't know anything about the food industry, so being this late and like trying to start something new has been my like newest adventure. Like, and so then when I moved back out here, I was like, okay, well, to start out small, I need to do like a pop-up or a food truck or something like that, right? But I need the time to work on it, so I need to get a job that I can work early in the morning and it frees up my day. And so I decided, okay, well, coffee's the way to go, because they're open early, I can get in my hours in the morning and then focus on this at night.
I love coffee.
Yeah.
Love coffee, but I promised myself as a coffee lover, I'll never work as a barista, and I will never do warehouse work. Those are my promises to myself. I've been a dishwasher, I've been a chef and stuff like that, but that's where I draw the line. Yeah. Baristas and warehouses.
Why is that?
Barista, I feel like I can make good coffee for myself, but when it comes to other people saying, I want it this specific way, or this wasn't good enough, or can you make this more hotter, I don't like to take critique. I get bothered. Like if I have to do something 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, I lose my patience. My patience is very thin, so I would suck up at being a barista.
It's so funny you say it, like, because that is a big thing, especially if you don't like dealing with criticism and just negative people in general. Sometimes people.
And that's the drink. Drink and food. You gotta be very sensitive, because it's going inside your body, and you have to respect that. It's not like content creation where you can be free, and it's not gonna. It might hurt people's feelings, but it won't get them sick.
Right.
Or
100%. There is that element when it comes to dealing with food, 100%. But at the end of the day, it is a cup of coffee, and if someone's gonna give you,
a hard time
over, it's like, all right, I'm not gonna let a cup of coffee ruin my day.
Right.
That's how you want to go about your day.
Right.
That's kind of your.
But how many times can you?
100%, and that's just sort of like, it took me a while to get to a point where I was like, nah, I have no ego about it anymore. I'm just like, yeah, whatever. You want to remake? Let's do it. Cool.
Okay.
You know, and it's more of like I accept it as part of the gig now. Like, and I look at it as like a challenge. Like, how many people can you make smile today?
Right.
You know, or how can you?
I remember maybe a year or two ago where I went to Starbucks and it was just, the drink was just so gross.
Yeah.
So gross.
Yeah, that's happened.
And I'm just like, I don't have the heart to tell this guy because he was good looking, so I just left and drank it anyway. No. But I was like, man, this is like the worst.
No, so there's and I guess it really depends on the culture. I work for a company that like prides itself on like building those relationships with the customers, and if the customers expresses that, we want to build that comfort for them to be like, hey, can you
No, and it wasn't about the discomfort or anything like that. It was more of me like trying to please this guy because he's very handsome.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't want to maybe hurt his feelings.
Right.
I wanted to be nice. You know, there's times where you try to be nice. You know, but you still remember.
Yeah.
You remember. You know, and you're like, I don't know if I could. You know, I have to drink it, make sure I like it, and most of the time I do. But if it's not drinkable, I try my hardest to just suck it up. Like you said, at the end of it is coffee, and I was taught to be nice about stuff like that. But I won't let it happen multiple times.
Right. Yeah. And you know that's a peaceful way to go about it too. I've had customers, I've seen it with myself and other people where customers just like, you know what, this wasn't it. Cool. Let's either remake it.
Is there any terrible experience that you'll never be able to forget because it was like terrible with like a customer or maybe a coworker or?
I've never seen one that was too bad. There's been just little moments of embarrassment, right, where it's like, okay, they might not know going into it what they want, and so you're chopping it up with them, and then you recommend something, and then it turns out they hate it, and then it's like, all right, cool. But it's one of those things, again, it's a challenge. It's a challenge. Like, okay, well, all right, you didn't like that, so do you like, more fruitier stuff, more, blah, blah, and then we work on it until you leave with a smile. You know, it's not, I don't take it personal, and they appreciate the effort too. They're like, okay, well, that wasn't it. It's not like they're charging me for another drink. It's not like they're genuinely trying to make me happy. Most people recognize that. Most people are like, chill, So
most of the time, actually, when a barista recommends something to me, and I'm like, I want something sweet, hot, they're normally on point. Yeah. I don't think there ever been a time where they suggested something bad. Actually, So I love coffee, and I love conversations with coffee, and coffee's such a great thing.
It's just so new. I mean, it's new to me. I've learned a ton over the past, like I said, I've only been doing this since June or July. I've always been a fan of coffee, but I've never got into the making of it until recently. And
what about the recipes? Like learning all the mixes.
That's honestly like
measurements. That's where I'm like.
I've worked for law firms. I've worked for real estate companies where I needed to licensing and learn rules and stuff. The most thorough rules that I had to memorize, and the most rigorous training too. Like they put me through 3 months of training before I even opened up shop and started working, and having to memorize all the rules of the drinks and learning the basics and stuff, and how to maneuver a $1,000 espresso machine, $5,000 espresso machine.
Really expensive equipment.
Yeah. So learning all that from the ground up, I would say it's challenging. It's actually really, really challenging. But I think because I've worked for 2 coffee companies now, the right culture is key. Having the right company that prides itself on training people and really wants to develop you and really wants to see you succeed, that makes all the difference in the world for sure.
Would you ever consider having your own coffee shop?
No, not necessarily. It's not where my true passion is. Not like pizza, you know what I mean. But now I'm like considering, hey, maybe adding it as like a menu item. Maybe nothing complex, like I'm not gonna have a full Starbucks in my pizza shop or anything like that. But having an espresso option or a few espresso options would be pretty cool, I think.
It'd be funny if it got more popular over the
You never
coffee
know.
than the pizza.
You never know. Yeah.
But then throw this in the mix. Merchandise.
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually saw on TikTok this guy who said he started a coffee shop with his best friend, and most of his income is earned by merchandise.
I'm realizing how important both the I've worked for 2 pizza shops now and then 2 coffee shops. One of them, a big portion of their revenue was their branding and their merch, and the coffee company that I work for now, a huge part of that is their, not necessarily like merch that they sell, but just like little giveaways, and like people like stay tuned to the little giveaways that don't cost the company a ton of money, but it's about creating that experience for the customer, and it's like
That relationship.
and it's something that's opened up my eyes. I'm like, okay, I need to account for this whenever it is I do launch my own thing. I'm like, this needs to be a thing,
Right.
Yeah.
Also, I really like coffee shops, or like mom and pop's coffee shops, when they have like, space to chill.
Yeah.
Or Wi-Fi, and it creates that home
Yeah.
vibe to it.
That's the main reason why I want to open up my own stuff instead of just working for a cool pizza shop for the rest of my life, because I want to have that experience too. I've been to those places where you go in, it's inviting. They might have the right soundtrack. The vibes are right, you know, and it's like I want to create the experience that I want to walk into.
The perfect experience with
so.
the pizza, the coffee, the environment, all that. Success.
Yeah, that sounds cool to me.
Yeah, I love talking business as well. I have a lot of ideas, but when it comes down to it, is that hard work, money, and having a good partnership with the people that you might start a business with or would want to work with, which is hard.
Yeah, it is. But
would you ever hire family to work with you in this?
I've seen it go really, really bad with family businesses, but it doesn't discourage me. I think it's all right, buddy. If you,
it's like, I want to work there.
Yeah. No,
He's like, including
yeah,
me.
no. He's gonna be our mascot for sure.
Right.
He's gonna be a tax write-off for sure if he's on our branding. Yeah. No, you recognize everybody's strengths and weaknesses regardless of their family or not, and I think there's a place for everybody, And if I think it would be a huge compliment if a family member recognizes what I'm doing and wants to be a part of it.
Just having them support. That's
huge. That's huge.
Because a lot of them won't.
Yeah.
Or family is people, and people are all complex.
Right, 100%. And I like I said, I've seen it go bad. I've worked for companies where it's like, a brother and sister ownership, and one head says one thing, the other head says the other, and it's like it becomes stressful for not only them but everybody that's working with them. So I definitely don't want those vibes. But there's something about working side by side with people that you trust with everything. That I like that aspect of it. And my brother and sister for sure. Like I said, my brother's ex-Navy. My sister's 10 years younger and doing well for herself. I trust their judgment more than anybody. So I would love to work with them one day, or if they ever wanted to get involved with what I was doing.
Well, I dealt with a lot of my family doesn't know that I do podcasts and short films. I haven't been open to them about what I do and who I am. But once I succeed, I hope it changes. And I hope they'll be proud of me.
Absolutely.
But this is speaking if it changes. I've been on the grind for about 3-4 years.
Okay.
And I've been backstabbed, I've been betrayed, I've been helped. A lot of positive and good things too. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they can't argue with success, so, you know.
Right.
If you
and success is defined differently.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
You know, so.
And so, yeah, so I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, there's always going to be non-believers, you know what I mean? But you can't just, I mean, I can't wait for that day where they're like, oh shit, that's what he was working with. Okay, when I was busy hating on that, he was over here doing that, you know?
Right.
So, you know, it's motivating if anything. Yeah.
Definitely. But is there any projects that you're working on? Anything that people can look forward to?
As far as projects, like I said, I kind of decided that when it comes to like doing my own operation, the pop-up route's probably going to be the best route for me.
Are you in the midst of that?
Kind of, sort of. So recently there's been new local laws, new local regulations that have made it easier for like home chefs, home cooks to get an operation started even out of their home.
Right, like DoorDash or
Ghost Kitchens, definitely, but just even community support, just like actually serving people in your home if you wanted to.
Oh, sure.
And so, you could look up your local county rules and stuff, and so I'm just, I actually have one of the seminars that I'm going to next week with the county, and so I can educate myself on what I need to do to get started. Because originally I wanted to do, you know, a mobile business, a truck or something like that. It's a huge investment. Even though it's not a brick and mortar restaurant, it's a huge, huge investment. So my whole idea was like, okay, if I'm gonna get started, I want to get started with no debt, because that's where a lot of people tank, a lot of businesses tank, because they get started with this huge amount of debt. And they can't, you know, it's not a guarantee that you're gonna be successful. So you have to be prepared for everything. And I said, if I'm gonna start with zero debt and with as little startup capital as possible to set myself up for success. If I do make a profit, everything goes back into the business, the initial phases, and it's, you know, I'm just trying to start as simple and as small as possible. And so I figured this new county regulation would probably be my best route. And so right now I'm just kind of in the education phase of just learning what I need to do.
But the thing is, with anything that you might be creating, whether, you know, it's on the internet or food-wise or anything, what makes you stand out is your uniqueness. So do you have maybe a unique recipe, or what would make you different than all of these pizza shops and all of these other startups? Like what would make your thing more different, if you could share that? Yeah,
well, I think as people get more educated on what I'm about and what I bring to the table, like I said, I've worked for a couple pizza shops in my lifetime, and one of them is with the local pizza champion, one of his brands. I've literally traveled all over the world, like being a student of pizza, like from Naples, Italy, down to New Haven, down to Brooklyn, lived in Brooklyn, down to, you know, the West Coast and studying the West Coast pizza history, because we have a unique pizza history that doesn't get a lot of credit either in California. And so combining all these styles into my own product, I think, is unique, and just kind of developing something new that combines all these elements. What makes East Coast pizza so great? What makes West Coast pizza so great, in my opinion? And just doing something absolutely different from the ground up, you know? Yeah.
I guess I would have to test it out.
Yeah, 100%. You're
and out of all the styles, which is your best? Would you say, is it pepperoni? Is it cheese? Is it a whole different?
Well, are you Hispanic? You're
yeah,
Hispanic. Okay. Yeah. So I go into a taqueria, right? I order an horchata.
Yeah.
I can judge a whole restaurant by the horchata.
Correct.
Right? You know about that. Yeah. So same deal with pizza. Like, I'll go in there and I like pepperoni, I like all the mixes and all that, but I'm ordering a cheese slice. If you get the cheese slice right, chances are everything's gonna be great.
How can you go wrong with bread and cheese?
Pizza's gonna be pizza, it's always gonna be great, but if you just knock it
Really?
out of the
Is
park.
that the secret? Because I am not going into any pizza establishment and getting cheese pizza.
Well, that's for starters.
For me.
I didn't say it ends there. I didn't say it ends there. So that's where it starts. You get a cheese slice, and then from there you can say, okay, this is going to be a great spot. This is going to be, that's how I judge it. Because the chances are, if they can't, if the cheese is blah, you're like, all right, this, nothing else is really going to, blow you away.
I think for me, that what sets me off on pizza, it would be the grease. If it's greasy, if it's very greasy, or the cheese is not perfect.
Mm-hmm. What would you say is your favorite pizza place?
Little Star Pizza.
Little Star.
In San Francisco.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
They're really good. They're deep dish.
Yeah, so I mean, everyone's different. That's the other thing about pizza. It's an Italian food, but it's reached a level where it's like global, and everybody loves what they love, and you can have different styles and different flavors from. You can have like
But the love is there.
Yeah, 100%.
The popularity talks for itself.
Yeah.
So if you go to Chicago and you ask them, what's the best pizza in town?
Yeah.
And you see a whole bunch of people lined up.
Yeah, 100%.
There's something there.
100%. That's so true. So true. I always appreciate what the masses appreciate, but even
There's
better
always
than that, I love
always.
discovering the underdog, the speakeasy spot that nobody knows about. We have a few in Concord too, but and then like just being sort of like, you feel like almost like you're an exclusive club, like you're in the know, and nobody knows about this awesome spot that blows everybody else out of the water, and you're not waiting in any lines. You're not fighting for
a table
spot. It's just like I said. I think a great quality pizza will speak for itself, and word will eventually get out. But I love supporting the little guy that doesn't have all the popularity. And if I really like it, I won't share the word.
You're like, this is mine.
Yeah. But I always support the little guy.
You said there's a few in Concord?
Yeah. Okay, I guess I'm gonna fucking ruin it. Sorry, I swear.
Give me like two or three of them. So
Two or three of them?
Go visit them.
Okay. Top one, and I don't even know if it's considered Concord. It might be borderline Clayton, Clayton Station, but Freewheel. Have you heard of this place?
It sounds expensive.
It's
San Francisco?
pricey. No, it's actually. I think the dude is a solo operation. I don't know him or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't exactly. I remember.
Or Freewheel.
Freewheel.
Okay.
Yeah. So like I remember going in there where it was just him working there, but this guy I don't know if he does this part time or what, but he is only open 4 days a week.
Yeah.
And it's only for like a few, like maybe 3 or 4 hours on those days, and he'll only sell however many pizzas he sells a day. I think it's like 40. Like if you're not one of those 40, you don't get a pizza that day. And then you have to there's no phone, so you can't call in, you can't do it. It's like you have to reserve your spot online.
Oh, okay.
And if you get it, great. If you don't, you don't. And
then
furthermore, if you are lucky enough to get a spot, you pull up into Clayton Station where Walgreens is at, and it's like in the back alley or somewhere. You feel super exclusive.
Yes, I have had that pizza.
Very, very good stuff.
Okay.
You can tell he makes it with a lot of love. You can tell he's a student of the game.
Okay.
It's probably one of my favorite spots out here. The other one, this one I do know the guy who started it. He learned how to make pizza in Brooklyn, and him and his buddy started a chain out here in Concord called iSlice, but his new location is Slice It on Contra Costa, so I guess it's borderline Pleasant Hill. But that's probably one of my top 2 go-tos when I'm out here.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
The world knows now, maybe.
Yeah.
Those 2 spots.
Try not to make the line too long.
Right. No, keeping good things to yourself is
No,
it's
yeah,
not
no, you gotta share. You gotta share.
it's not a good thing.
You gotta share the love, yeah, for sure.
That's great. Like going from music to pizza, it's all separate, but it all kind of links together at the same time.
Yeah.
The business, the creativity, it all blends.
Yeah.
Is there any supernatural stories you have, or the scariest thing you have experienced, either professionally or privately, that you're willing to share?
The scariest thing, huh? I don't know. I don't really like necessarily believe in supernatural stuff, but I do think that certain things, there's like little signs. I don't know. Maybe it's supernatural. Who knows? But like even this guy, like I said, you know, when I got him, it had a lot to do with my ex who passed away, and our first car ride, like I just randomly threw a song on from my music collection, with just thousands and thousands and thousands of songs. But the first song that came on was from her playlist. So just kind of, what are the odds of that kind of thing? Yeah, I don't know. That's probably the craziest, kind of weirdest coincidence. I got him on his name's Cowboy, and I got him on Niners Cowboy Weekend, which is kind of bizarre.
Literally happened like yesterday.
I got him 2 days ago. Yeah. So
yeah.
Kind of bizarre coincidence.
And we won.
I think they're just things that are meant to be. That's right. But he's a Niner fan, so don't get it twisted.
Good. Yeah, there's definitely, I think, our bodies speak to us. I think the wind, the rain, everything talks to us in a way where if we ask God or some kind of force, or you're looking for an answer, if you listen, you'll see it.
Yeah.
If you look, you'll find it. Like if you, that open-minded, aspect of things. There's comfort in all that.
Yeah.
I mean, it may not be God. It may be a force. It may not. It might be many different things.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're.
Yeah, I sort of look at it like indicators that you're on the right path of some sort.
Right path, or your ex-girlfriend, you said?
Yeah.
Still back with you.
Yeah.
You know, still loves you. Maybe she's thinking of you, or you know.
100%.
How recent did she pass away?
So it was a car accident. So she was late July was the accident. Then
this year.
Yeah.
Oh,
she passed
very recent.
in August. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
You were not in the car.
I was not involved in any kind of way. She ended up moving to Paso Robles, and we had plans to like hang out and stuff. I was up here, so I was nowhere.
But you were together?
No, not at the time. At the time, we were kind of like
about to get together.
We had been broken up for a while, but we were like on a upswing, I guess. We were like almost like we had plans to reconnect.
Right.
And then then her best friend was the one who broke the news to me, you know, and so and her best friend's the one that fosters dogs and found Cowboy for me. So it's kind of all connected in a way. Yeah.
I'm not gonna say sorry.
No,
because I dealt with a lot of grief myself, and I just get mad when people say that. It's like, it's not making me feel better. And don't even say that you're here for me if I need anything, because chances are if I go to you and I need something, you won't help me.
Right.
Death is a very, it's starting to be something I know very well, unfortunately. Right. I lost both my folks back in 2018, and my brother last year in December 12th, 2023.
Wow.
So very recent myself, and I was very close to him, and I was having a hard time getting over my mother, so having him, losing him has been rough, so. Yeah. And this is the first time I opened about it, that I spoke about it in public.
I'm honored that you can keep it real, and it's you know, it's been one of those things where most of the time it just feels surreal. It feels like it didn't happen, and then you get those moments where like reality hits you, you know.
Right. You don't get over it. You learn to
You don't.
live with it.
You don't. And then I kind of, I'm starting the process of like extract whatever positivity I can from it, right? The gratitude that you even got to cross paths with this person, all the positivity that you had in those relationships, and then, you know, this person was a person that always wanted the best for me and always was elevated me, right? And so like taking that hurt and that pain and sort of using it as fuel to elevate and live up to whatever they would have wanted for you. That's kind of where I'm at right now. It's like, okay, well, I'm just super motivated to just do things in my life that this person would have been proud of, you know. So that's kind of.
And are you open to relationships, or are you kind of like, I need my time, I'm not ready?
It's one of those things where like that's not even where my head's at right now. You know what I mean? It's I'm so focused on me right now, and again, just like living up to the best version of myself. That like, you know, you can't deny yourself if something good comes along the way, but it's not something I'm seeking.
Right.
And it's not. It's just not something that I'm even like
thinking about.
Yeah.
It's not top.
Yeah.
Top thought.
Yeah.
It's like one of the things in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
I feel the same way too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I get you.
Are you dealing with things where like I'm curious because I don't know anybody that's like grieved someone close to them and like.
It's a struggle every day.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have to even base it on hour, because sometimes it's harder than others.
Yeah.
I haven't told you my full-on story because there's still things moving in motion and things are still trying to be answered that I can't expose. Right. And it's private anyway. Yeah. So we gotta respect our public and private things. Yeah. I'm an open book, but when it comes to me, when it affects other people and you know, people are watching that might be closer to those people and it might offend them. That's when I have to stop. But it's an everyday thing. Sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's harder. But like you said, use it as motivation. Take the good memories and just move forward. That's all we could do at the end of the day.
Yep.
And a lot of people are like, get yourself a pet.
Yeah.
No. They're a lot of work.
Yeah.
And a lot of time, and if I can barely take care of myself, I probably can't take care of a pet. But good company is always great.
He was definitely an impulsive decision, I will say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No regrets yet? You're like, give me a few months.
No, yeah. It's actually really good, and I have a lot of support. Like I said, my brother and sister are great. And
is he more attached to you or to them?
100%. He's with me. Well, it's only been a couple of days, but he's with me a lot, and we're training him to be independent, which he's naturally independent. He doesn't like a lot of snuggles. He doesn't like, he likes his space. So that's good.
Yeah.
But he'll follow me around, like if it comes down to it.
Okay,
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Any questions for me?
So how long you been doing this, and like what are your goals with this?
4 years, 3 to 4 years, and I keep having to reinvent the podcast.
Yeah.
Just when I think I have the formula or what I think it should have.
Yeah. Oh yeah, just a little bam. Alright, take this here. Like I said, I haven't done this in like 10 years. This might be a big flop. It's gonna be hilarious. Anyway, so just real quick, I put one in one hand, the other in the other hand. Pick a hand. Alright, so now just because you picked this hand, I'm gonna make sure that none of them end up in this hand and everything ends up in this hand.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. I don't know how you did that, but cool.
Magic.
Cool. That's
Magic.
So where can they find you?
So my regular Instagram is Sergio Gonbefine. That's Sergio Gonbefine. And then if you're looking to find where the next pop-ups are gonna be for the pizza joint, it's Backhouse Baker Bros. I think that's the Instagram is Backhouse Baker Bros. And yeah, so hopefully Concord's launch very soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be there.
I
And
hope
I'm a
so.
tough critic.
I hope so. I hope
I'm very
so.
tough.
I hope so. Yeah.
So I'll be honest.
Heck yeah. Well, what you didn't ever tell me what your favorite style of pizza is, so I make sure to.
I like combo.
You like combo?
I like
You like
combo.
a supreme style?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. We'll make sure to have
No
something like
cheese.
that. No cheese.
No. I don't really like cheese pizza.
Okay. Okay. No plain
I'm a
cheese.
cheese.
Gotcha.
I'm a plain cheese hater.
Is that
Pizza
right?
Hater.
I used to be that way. I honestly was. It was too basic for me.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where it's like you learn to appreciate once you
How'd you know
master
which-
the cheese line.
Which one I was? I'll never know.
A magician doesn't reveal his tricks. Can't do it.
Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and please follow him. And thank you for watching and subscribe. See you guys next time.
Also, taking something basic, right, like a cheese pizza, a Tony's cheese pizza that you'll get in the $3 frozen food section, right?
Right.
And then
DiGiorno.
Yeah, exactly. Getting a DiGiorno, right, and then you take a few prosciutto cold cuts from the deli aisle, and then jazz it up a little bit at home, some arugula or something.
What do you think of the take and bake pizza?
I'm not a hater.
Papa John's?
I'm not a
Papa
hater.
John's.
But most people just don't have the equipment or the capacity at home to really maximize the quality at home. Like I have a pizza stone in my home oven, so if I take one of those, you'll never know the difference. You'll never know it's a Papa John's or a Papa Murphy's, right? But most people are doing it on the rack, and it's it's not the same. But you can definitely jazz that up too. If you have a little baking steel or whatever, and you can really make that thing.
Delish.
Yeah.